I've been just called the AI hater, which I'm not, but that means that I'm the one who is doing the intro for this episode. We're basically talking about AI year after it became super popular all over the world. We're going to touch upon the topic of ChatGPT and other AI tools, some of which I just recently heard about. Yasmin has quite a few more of them, probably that he wants to discuss, and a couple of new projects that recently we became aware of. So, with that being said, this is That IT Show podcast. Let's roll the intro and start chatting. Okay, Mr. AI, what's up?
Don't call me Mr. AI, please.
Why not? You love AI.
No, I love the results of AI. And I still think that the AI is one of those things that we needed. And the reason why we needed it, because we needed a new technology that is going to completely disrupt everything that we know and everything that has been done up so far. It's been a year. It's been a year that has been extremely complicated when it comes to AI. And I'm going to start with a conclusion. And my conclusion is going to be that AI, as was introduced and as was mentioned, as all earth-shattering, everything is going to change technology, basically didn't materialize.
I agree.
What happened is that we have Microsoft just created Copilot everything. They are right now pushing for Copilot into there is a Copilot app in Android App Store. I didn't have the time to see what is it all about, but I see no reason why it is there. There is a Copilot plugin for every conceivable and almost all of the inconceivable applications in Microsoft. And the main thing is that the people are still not ready to buy into AI. So I don't see a lot of people buying or paying for AI functions in the different pieces of software. And on the other hand, I see that a lot of people are marketing software as being done by AI. The thing is that what we need to check, what we need to sort, and what we need to talk about is the basic. I hate even mentioning the idea of Gartner quadrant, but we need to take execution and all the other stuff that Gartner does, and I think that we should be creating our own quadrant, or let's call it the Pentagon,
No.
out of what AI was supposed to be doing, what the AI is doing right now, and where we are in the inevitable, I'm going to call it evolution of AI.
Okay.
Because AI started being a revolution and then suddenly just became a thing. It just became a side thing that was just a tagline, a prefix to everything that was done before.
Okay. I remember our first episode that we did about ChatGPT. Coincidentally, it was one of our longest episodes, and we made a couple of subsequent ones as well. For example, utilizing it for writing CVs and whatnot. And I've been sort of, let's say, having a hibernation in terms of using ChatGPT for the past 7-8 months. Haven't used it I almost haven't used it at all. I've asked for certain things from that tool just to kind of see where it's at. I've noticed that it gives the same quality of responses which we discussed in our previous episodes. So I wasn't all that sold on it from the beginning because for my let's say, vision of reality, it's way too imprecise in many of the things that are of interest to both you and me. Therefore, I was ready to use it kind of like as a side tool to do some things, but not a lot of things that require a certain level of, let's say, responsibility. And you just cannot take it for granted, and that still stands today, even more so than
I'm
before.
I'm going to go with you completely on this, and but I am also going to add one more thing,
Mm-hmm.
and this is that I actually don't care, and I never cared for the AI, specifically ChatGPT,
Mm-hmm.
to become a primary tool of everything. Uh, the idea of AI, as I understood it,
Mm-hmm.
was to try to compile all the information that was available on the internet. And this compilation is error prone.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, there are problems. The problems are more or less solvable as soon as you realize what you need to do. So, you need to check on what the AI is doing. From when we started to this date, I noticed a few things.
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT has become much more, I would call it vague. It's much less inclined to give you precise answers. So, for example, in the first episode, when we were doing the AI, I was using the AI to locate a certain type of laptop that had KVM on it. When I was trying to do it a couple of weeks ago, it was trying to generically point me into the direction of small laptops,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't make it to mention any model of any laptop by name.
Mm-hmm.
So I see that what they done is they try to generalize the information that the AI is giving you. This is one of the things.
Okay.
Another thing is that right now there is, I don't know how many models available on the market. ChatGPT has at least three of those running right now:
Mm-hmm.
3.5, 3.5 fast, and 4. 4 is you have to pay for it. They have a cute couple of applications, which Delhi or the image generation tool is available as also as a part of the ChatGPT.
Need to talk about that one as well.
Yes, it's neat. It's funny. It's neat. They created a sub tool that is used to create coloring books for children. I don't know where they came up with the idea of such a niche thing, but apparently there is a lot of children among IT guys, so they like coloring books. ChatGPT got plugins. Those plugins are ranging from immensely useful to completely terrible.
Okay.
And this is for the ChatGPT. ChatGPT created its own market,
Mm-hmm.
created its own problems,
Mm-hmm.
had a huge, let's call it an affair, or however they want to call it, when they basically got rid of their chairman,
Mm-hmm.
and then created a storm in teacup, and then got the chairman back in what was it, 7 days or 6 days?
Please don't. I don't want to talk about Mexican soap.
Yeah, so this was the thing, but ChatGPT is probably the most linear of them all. Google came to the market with the Bard.
Mm-hmm.
Bard is, I would call it, one generation behind ChatGPT,
Okay.
if not two. Uh, of course, there is Bing. Bing AI is, I think, what it did, it completely broke the experience of using the internet.
Okay.
And the only thing that I like about Bing is that if you are in a hurry and you don't have access to the ChatGPT, you can, by using some prompts, you can just trick Bing to answer as ChatGPT. So to assume the other persona and just do the things for you. So, for example, you can make Bing program for you. You can make Bing create the CSV files for you, and so on and so on. So not do the task that is designed for. And then there are others.
Mm-hmm.
And by others, I mean enormous amount of chat GPT based bots that are using API and then creating immensely funny things. I sent you a couple of music songs today, and I'm going to leave it at this. I'm not going to put them in the description.
Don't, because I will describe them.
Yes. So you heard the songs?
Yes, I did, all three of them.
Which style did you like? I created a song in the Western style, hyperpop style, and prog rock style.
Yeah, prog rock style. All three suck. By
Yes.
no mistake of your own, of course, because you just used an AI tool to tell it what it needs to do. It is
In one sentence.
Yeah, and the prog one was kind of interesting because it should have had the beat of the Western one while it didn't, and the rhythm and the different divisions of and subdivisions of whatnot. So it was a very I wouldn't call it a mixed experience. I would just call it a drunken experience. That's the best description that I can come up with, especially having in mind, as you know, that today I had rehearsal with my guys, and we tend to play a lot of prog-based stuff. And you kind of polluted my brain with that BS right before it actually, for which I congratulate you because you did your deed.
Did you play the song for them?
No, I'm not that vague or egotistical because you made a AI tool create a song about me. I don't want to have a song about myself ever.
But the thing is that this AI tool, and I need to make sure I don't remember how was it called.
Please
just give me
don't.
a second. No, I'm not going to link it to it. I just want to remember how it's called. Suno.
Yes.
So this is one of those applications that is probably a poster child of what is happening right now in AI.
Okay.
So it's a half-baked solution to something that didn't need to be solved. And I honestly think that the idea behind those guys is that they are trying to create something that is going to be barely working. So, as you said, drunk song making, in order to try to get some venture capitalist to invest some money into it.
Yeah.
Because it's a I would call it the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
It doesn't make too much sense. It creates something. It's not that it didn't create anything, but the result is awful. And this is more or less 90% of the AI market right now.
Can I interject with another bad and another good example, or maybe two? Generally speaking, I agree with you. There are tools that you obviously haven't tried, just like I haven't, so it's normal. But a couple of weeks ago, I was forced to find some kind of a tool that is going to make certain bits and pieces of our recent program a little bit less blurry.
Okay?
We talked about that extensively, let's say 2 weeks ago or so.
So you actually searched for a particular defined tool that you needed.
Yes. And I spent actually a couple of days, a couple of hours per day trying to find some tool like that. And Topaz AI was one of the recommended ones. Tried it. It didn't make all that much difference as I was hoping. And it didn't make any sense to me based on the demo that I did to spend, don't quote me on this, I think it was something like $250 to pay for the license. So that's not necessarily the best example, although I'm sure I've seen demos of that tool that are way better than what I was able to come up with. So that's let's put it in the category of a bad example, at least right now. After that, I played a lot with some of the new AI tools that have been brought into the Adobe CS tools and DaVinci. For example, the transcribing tools for creating closed captions and whatnot. Those are very good. Just as an example, I mean, you have to command something when it's worth to say something good about it. So those tools work very well. And actually, I'm in the process of completely switching the platform that I'm using for my multimedia editing to either one of those tools. I have licenses for both. I'm just going through the beta testing phase to see which one suits my hour basically needs most. And I'm much more familiar with DaVinci at this point, been using it for a year and a half or 2 years on and off. And some of the things that it does, they are slow compared to stuff that, for example, Premiere can do. I'm stating that out loud, but they are much easier to do than in Premiere. That being said, we recently had the conference, if you remember, where I had to do those video clips for intro, outro,
Yes.
coffee, whatnot. For those things, the CS utilities are completely replaceable, especially when I needed to export them as certain types, ProRes, whatnot, with media encoder that works perfectly. So for me, it actually makes sense to have both of these products up and running. Hopefully, I'm going to have a situation in which one of them kind of like takes clear advantage, and then I just use one of them. So well, I'm just stating this because you mentioned the music tool. So in line with the idea of multimedia, let's say that these two tools are making actually good progress in terms of implementing AI tools as a part of the workflow.
Yes, but I think that the main point that you are trying to make but not making right now is that almost all of the things that you said are completely normal when it comes to commercial software.
Mhm.
So, for example, when you are dealing with, I don't know, Adobe, love it or hate it, but they have a huge number of plugins.
Mhm.
Usually, when you're dealing with Adobe plugins or plugins for any major commercial software,
Mhm.
you're going to get much higher quality plugins that you can even think of.
Mhm.
Remember, it was what 20 years ago when Photoshop introduced the magic wand and the idea of you being able to regenerate part of the image and stretch the image and so on and so on.
Mhm.
So when it comes to things like this, AI is amazing.
Mhm.
It's a tool, but it requires two things. First, it requires to be able to. It needs to be backed up by a huge company because the amount of development needed to create a coherent tool
Mhm.
is something that is problematic. And the other thing is that this company also needs to create a usage case scenario that you are not going to be uh, end up being robbed by the company.
Mhm.
Because the most of the companies that I have seen and most of the things that I have seen on the market,
Mhm.
basically they overpromise and they expect you to pay huge amounts of money
Mhm.
because the price of the ChatGPT API is large,
Mhm.
and they need to use ChatGPT's AI. And the thing is that since they didn't do enough research and they didn't do enough development, they are unoptimized in using APIs. So they're wasting a lot of ChatGPT time. So this makes their product extremely expensive.
Mhm.
So it comes down to the AI as it is a good tool. But right now we are dealing with mediocre to bad programmers using it to try to create uh, short-term solutions to problems that don't exist.
Solution without a problem yet again.
Yes, and this is one of those things because they just say, okay, I'm going to implement AI into cable management. Why?
Thank you for that. I remember the pictures. That's awesome.
Yes, this is one of those things, but the actual thing is that right now they are trying to actually implement the AI into cable
Well,
management.
good luck with that.
What happened is that I'm not going to name names, but one of the vendors has implemented the LEDs inside the, and I mean inside the connectors on the switches, so that you can actually light up the switches in RGB. And now you can light up the ports and see VLANs and everything else. And they are promising that you're going to be able to use AI to understand what is the data flow of your packets to the
I
network.
like the idea per se. but the using that with AI is just stupid.
Uh, I I understand that people who like networks like shiny lights.
We do.
This is what
Yeah.
this is one of those
Yeah.
things. But then again, there is also that image of a chicken being lighted up by LED lights dancing.
Mhm.
And I think that we need to draw a line somewhere between those two
In
things.
between those two things.
Yes. So I don't want my data center to look like a
Christmas tree. Yeah, I agree. I have regular fights about this specific topic with some of my clients.
And I think that what is missing is that right now they're trying to do things that probably shouldn't be done. On the other hand, the things that they can do and the things that they're doing are lagging behind. This is the AR.
Mhm.
So so they are doing AR. The AR being uh, reality that is augmented by information.
Mhm.
And when it comes to networking, in the last couple of months or a year, there is a solution that basically enables you to use the computer vision,
Mhm.
combine it with actually your vision using some kind of VR glasses, and to actually note different ports on your
Switch.
on the switches on your racks, so that you can actually understand what is happening where. And this is not meant to be done in real world. This should be an AR thing. It should be an overlay over the normal networking thing. So AI, yes, but AI as a flashy neon sign that is going to just make stupid people happy. No, 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 and no.
Imagine walking into a data center for a cloud provider with all those flashy lights, with thousands and thousands and thousands of VLANs and whatnot in different colors. It's going to be it's useless.
I know that.
Overlays, let's say overlay in terms of per port VLAN numbers or something like that, would be difficult to implement, yet definitely doable.
But the other thing is that once we need to take, and this is going to happen, we are going to be taking into consideration how much power is the LED presentation of the switch is going to take up in the data center, and then this is probably the line that we need to make.
Line in the sand.
Yes.
Okay. I have a couple of other things that I wanted to chat with you about, and you mentioned the Mexican soap of OpenAI. I want to just reflect on one thing related to the Mexican soap of OpenAI, and it's not related to any people. It's actually a topic of them changing their guidelines / terms of use multiple times
Yes.
over the past year. I haven't had the chance to review the latest ones. I saw some comments about what's happening there, and the structure of the OpenAI as a company versus ChatGPT, which is some other company, one of them being profitable, the other one not, blah, 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 all that BS that we don't want to talk about, makes this very weird. I have a lot of reservations, just like a lot of people, about what they're doing, and that has nothing to do with people running it or the boards or particular persons or whatever. Because this, for this specific technology, AI in general, it is definitely obvious that we don't have a consensus in terms of how it should work and what it should do. That's easily rectifiable by using some kind of a legal framework, which still hasn't been perfected. It's still being worked on all over the world. I'm the last one who wants to implement too many, different types of rules in that regard, but still something needs to happen. At the end of the day, information that ChatGPT provides and other tools, again, stressing this out because it's important, is not necessarily correct, which means that there needs to be some kind of framework that is going to be a part of that. I mean, there are so many different structural and social things that are happening all over the world in next year. Various elections and whatnot, and abuse of AI-based tools is definitely going to be a topic of that.
I wanted to touch on that because you say that it is going to be a topic. It already
Yeah.
is. My favorite X, formerly known as Twitter, is right now not only a basic burning wreckage of what it was, but also a demo of what is going to happen when AI completely takes over the social networking media.
Okay.
Because what is happening right now is that since the entry price or the amount of money that you need to pay in order to get into using AI on Twitter is relatively cheap. You need to pay for a verified account, then you can use the Grok, the AI that is created by Elon Musk, which is nonsensical, small, just an experiment basically. But what is happening is right now is that everybody and their mother are creating a software that is trying to create clicks or create interaction by following all the big content producers and then creating their own content based on AI and then creating another set of posts. This has come to a point where whenever something is even remotely successful, suddenly you cannot read a single response from a single person because everything is AI generated. You are going to see, for example, I don't know, it happened on this day. You are going to see, I don't know, there was a couple of days ago, there was a image of the since this is the 55th year since the launch of Apollo 8, there was the Earthrise image posted because it was 55 years since it was taken. It had something like 250 responses, and out of those, maybe 30 or so were people. Almost all of the rest was the bots doing some sort of either try to explain what is happening or doing some nonsensical posting on their own, remotely connected to space or Apollo program or whatever. And this is created, this is completely wasted the framework of the social media that Twitter was. Twitter is right now completely unusable. No, I'm fine with this because this is like you being an addict on a social media network, and then this social media network
collapses,
slowly collapsing, so that you don't have the withdrawal symptoms. So it's good.
Thank you for describing it in that way. I'm guessing that you're going through some of that.
Yes, and now I'm there are days where I'm not even missing them, missing any of this.
Oh, thank you, Lord. Yeah, TikTok needs to be next.
I don't do TikTok.
Me neither.
No. I have a problem. It seems that I'm too old. I haven't been on Facebook for the last 3 years. Twitter has gone to hell and is not going back. Instagram and TikTok is something that I don't understand. So right now, I don't know. I'm going to be working on my OnlyFans account because this is the only thing that has been left.
Instagram has a couple of things that are cool, but mostly, yeah. Okay, so basically the things that have been happening in terms of their guidelines for the use cases and whatnot, and the pricing and stuff that has changed, and overall what's happening with cloud. A lot of people are moving out of cloud because of the prices and whatnot. Actually kind of increased, I won't say fear of using AI-based tools. I would say at least the level of caution has risen a little bit when compared to the initial onslaught of everybody wanting to do, yes, ChatGPT, all about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is going to solve all of my problems. And the question that still remains, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well, is where does that lead? what is going to happen, if we can, let's say, have a short chat about that, and how that might change some future compute use cases, because there are more than a few different ways in which AI can significantly influence the way in which we operate IT in general.
I'm going to go first with the harder part,
Okay.
because what I want to notice is that so far we have been exposed to AI solutions that are more or less software based.
Okay.
So the initial run of the ChatGPT is more or less entirely by Microsoft, and it took something like $500 million to create the initial language model and to create something that is working.
Okay.
I think that right now total is running something like $1.2 billion for the ChatGPT. And this is obviously something that cannot be sustained, or it has to be sustained by some other source of income.
Okay.
Microsoft is trying to create sources of income, but we are now talking about only software-based things. In the meantime, fortunately or unfortunately, both ARM, Intel, AMD, and all the other guys notice that they need to do something. NVIDIA is talking about creating AI dedicated chiplets or whatever, however they're calling them.
IBM created some kind of an analog brain emulating AI chip a couple of months ago, if I remember as well.
Yes. Intel has announced that puzzle out of different things created in different factories or different
Yeah.
technologies, because they are unable to create 3 nanometer.
Until next year.
Yes, but what they're going to do is that they're going to buy TSMC,
TSMC, yeah.
and then they're going to try to create what essentially is going to be Frankenstein, now the Frankenstein CPU, that is going to be running different size, because when we are talking about IT, we are usually dealing with talking about different dice and different style architectures, and now we are going to be basically running completely different processors inside the single processor.
Yeah.
And this is going to be one of those things.
We talked about this in many episodes, actually, that the industry is going in that direction, and there are a couple of other very, very interesting things happening in terms of the hardware market, especially on the CPUs, like on the compute side, CPU plus memory. Because
and on the other side, what I wanted to mention was the thing that you like the most is that people are talking about Windows 12.
okay,
They are calling it. Microsoft's apology to people, because apparently people need to be apologized to because of Windows 11.
I agree, they should.
And I'm not so sure about it. I have mixed feelings about Windows 11 since I've been using them for the last couple of years. I don't think they are that bad. They are not Vista bad. They are not Windows 8 bad.
Two things. You already mentioned two keywords which piss me off to no end. Okay. First one was the let's go in the opposite direction. First one was the comparison with a couple of the worst operating systems that Microsoft ever had. Luckily, you didn't mention the worst one.
Yes,
you're saving that for Windows 12, I'm guessing.
No. But what I want to say is that Microsoft has its own leeway. So they have created a safe space for them, because we know what they are capable of. How big of a screw up are they capable of?
Please stop.
So they are just right now bouncing in the middle and trying to create this as less painful as possible. But what Windows 12 is supposed to be from the perspective of Microsoft, it should be a completely AI oriented. And I wouldn't be surprised if they called it just a Windows Copilot.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Or desktop copilot or something like this. Because this is going to be the thing that they're going to do.
Can I have a small request for that?
Yes.
Please, Microsoft, make search work the way it should.
They pulled a feature. Did you notice there was an announcement about pulling a feature out of File Explorer? They eliminated the search feature that was searching the OneDrive every time you try to search for anything in the File Explorer. And by doing this, they created the search is right now something like 15 times more fast than it was.
My Office 365 search in Outlook in Android still doesn't work.
I have come to a point where if I want to find something in Outlook, I'm using any other mail program or mail client, because trying to use Outlook to search for anything is
pointless.
Basically pointless.
I mean, if I try to search, so I have my phone is here. If I go to Outlook and I try to search for, just as an example, your emails. Okay. The first email that it mentions is September 1, September the 1st. And you and I exchanged dozens of emails since then. But if I actually go in the direction of you scrolling a little bit lower, then all of a sudden the dates that are lower are actually after the ones that are on the top, which is, I'm guessing, a feature. But if I go even lower, then all of a sudden I'm already in 2019.
It's an AI thing, because it didn't notice anything important in those emails, so it completely ignores them.
Yes, you are a bug, not a feature, from the perspective of Outlook.
But from the perspective of Outlook, everything is a bug. I'm not going to go into bashing of Outlook, because I don't think that Outlook is a bad thing. What I do think is that we have a big problem with AI, because Microsoft is right now trying to convince us that we are going to solve the Outlook problem with the AI, the Windows problem with AI, the
Office
PowerPoint problem with AI, Office problem with AI. I haven't seen. What I'm waiting for is, first, I want a rebranding. Office Copilot is something that needs to happen, or Office AI 365. We need a new rebranding, because we did the rebranding when Microsoft decided to do this. Also, we need an AI PC. I see this happening.
I actually have a topic related to that. Hybrid cloud laptops that are based on AI. Or as we used to call them, terminals.
This is possible. You can do it right now.
No, actually, I have an extension. VDI terminals.
You can do it right now. You know that you can.
Yeah.
You know you can have mixed environments on your laptop, running applications on the cloud and applications in it. So when we create Windows 12, and they're going to be called either Windows Copilot or Windows AI, because this would be amazing rebranding thing. They have been using the numbers for far too long, so
the change is due.
The change is due. So either Windows Experience or Windows XP.
Please, no experience.
So what I wanted to say is that I see a future for Microsoft with a combined hybrid solution that is going to be AI in the cloud, combined with locally driven applications. But knowing Microsoft and knowing what they did with all the different things that they try to do, and let's just, for example, mention channels in Internet Explorer 4 that were meant to integrate HTML to your desktop, because this was, if you remember back then, this was the big thing that they were pushing for. So they said that every desktop needs to have HTML web page in the background. So I'm expecting something like this.
You have gone insane.
No, I'm just too old. And I remember what Microsoft did to all the different technologies.
What were
Because when it seems that when they say that nothing is off the table, nothing is off the table. Microsoft creates a solutions like one of those. Let's have a brainstorm. Everybody can say anything they want.
I have an
This is a safe
I
space.
have an idea.
Give me a second. Okay.
I have an
Go.
idea. They
Go.
need to bring back Microsoft Plus.
Yes. Yes, the same as Google Plus.
Microsoft Plus packages for those of our readers slash listeners slash viewers who haven't had a chance to enjoy that pile of something. It used to be an additional package on top of the operating system, which brought some extra additional utilities. Some of them are really good and useful. Some of them are just completely useless. But that being said, at least you knew that there is an operating system and there are some extra additional things.
But I think that Microsoft has proven over the last, 20 years or so, that they're completely incapable of understanding that people want an operating system and then they want additional utilities. Microsoft always bundles everything together because they want integration. And by integration, it means that a couple of warring parties inside Microsoft are trying to create a meeting where they're trying to establish how this thing is going to work. Then they decide nothing and then do nothing. So they end up with Windows 11. But anyways, back to the AI thing. What do I think what is going to happen next? I do hope that we are going to achieve some maturity when it comes to some of the AI tools.
I have two ideas.
Yes.
The first one that needs to happen, and I think it needs to happen very quickly, is let's call it explainable AI. I found that term somewhere on the net, which pretty well explains what I want to say, which is AI system when you provide it with information and when it outputs information to you as a result of your query. It needs to give you a clear explanation for the decision slash the stuff that it wrote out, which would kind of probably help a little bit with transparency and trust. That's the first thing. And then the second thing, you mentioned an example before we started recording, and I want you to talk about that one, but I'm not going to start the discussion. You will. Some kind of AI-based mechanisms and or natural language processing-based mechanisms, whatever, like they've produced with Visual Studio Copilot or whatever it's called, for coding. Because generally speaking, what ChatGPT as such does for coding is nowhere near good enough.
I'm going to mention a program that a colleague of ours, you know him, Senko and his team created.
I'm going to put the
Senko
link in the description box.
Yes, we're going to put a link over there called Chatpilot. And the idea of what he did is basically the idea that you are pushing for. And this is that you describe an application and then the pilot, and this is the reason why it's called pilot and not a co-pilot. So it does everything. It tries to create an application. It asks you questions when it needs to decide on something, and then creates a whole code. It debugs the application, then runs it. And the idea is for the ChatGPT to help in the development process, but the system itself is able to fix itself when it needs to, and it's able to talk to ChatGPT and talk to you, and try to understand what you're trying to accomplish, and how to accomplish it using ChatGPT. So I think this is one of those things that are, if not simply going in the right direction, but are almost there. And this is just a simple thing that needs to be done. This is you can get it. It's a free plugin. But the thing that is right now the problem is that what needs to be done and what needs to be solved is that ChatGPT is too expensive for most of the people.
I am not paying for the license. You are, and a couple of other colleagues are. I just don't want to use a tool which is semi-useful. I understand your use case. You want to have a little bit of fun as well. And our other colleague from the office also has the license, but he uses it to, let's say, describe something and get some ideas, which is okay. I do that as well. But other than that,
I use it more or less when I need to get boring things done. So, for example, if somebody asks me explain, I don't know, a certain term from IT, I'm going to ask it to create a small piece of text for me, because I'm going to stand behind this piece of text. I don't want to write it down, but for example, if I want to explain what DNS is in, I don't know, 100 words, it is going to do much better work than me, because it's going to be consistent. I'm going to go through the text it generated. I'm going to make sure that everything is okay, everything is has been done, but it's going to save me enormous amount of time. This is one thing. And the other thing is that ChatGPT, if prompted correctly, is an amazing tool for learning. Because what you can do is you can ask it to quiz you on things. So, for example, you can ask it, ask me 100 questions about DNS. And then it is going to create 100 questions about DNS. And when you go through questions one by one, some of them are going to make no sense. But I would say that more than 95% of them are going to make sense and are going to help you understand what are your problems in the knowledge of DNS. So in this specific scenario, ChatGPT is amazing. But you cannot create, and this is the thing that people don't understand, you cannot create everything out of nothing. You cannot just say to it, I need an amazing application, or I need a social network. You need to be pretty specific in what you're asking for, and then you need to be extremely specific in how you then talk to the engine itself to be able to solve some of the problems.
Okay. Before we close the session, I have something to tell you before you do the closing. And I'm deliberately doing this because I'm going to say something that you are not going to like. Thank you for calling ChatGPT it. We had that discussion.
Yes, I think that we need to define the pronouns for the ChatGPT.
We don't.
I think the ChatGPT is them, they, it.
I think it's just it.
But my problem with calling it is that I still remember the movie with the balloon. So I have a small problem with ChatGPT because it's not that bad. It is not good, but it's not that bad. So when somebody said you're talking to it, I always remember the clown and the balloon. And
no problem there.
I have a smallish problem there. So it's just maybe me. But
you are just deeply disturbed.
Yes, but what you need to understand is that I'm triggered, and then the other thing easily triggered, yes. And the other thing is that how do you call it when you are interacting with with an application?
Application is always it.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
For me, for example, Photoshop is a he. Premiere is a she.
You urgently need to find somebody for psychological assistance, man. This is deeply disturbing for me to listen to this crap.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Okay. So Da Vinci Resolve.
Yeah, it.
He.
Nope.
It's Da Vinci.
Camera.
Him. Camera. Camera. She.
No, it.
So why isn't the ship an it?
Sorry, why is
a ship?
Ship.
It
is.
A boat.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
It is.
The boats are a she.
Nope.
In English.
I understand what you want to say, but we are not in U.S. Navy and we are not christening boats with champagne.
Okay, so anyways, okay, if the only problem is the pronouns that we have with the AI, and I'm glad that you created this problem.
I did not.
Because I haven't seen it yet on the internet, and this tells something.
Nope, I have not. You have.
I think that we need to solve this thing because I have the ChatGPT open.
Ask it. Ask
check.
it which pronouns it wants to use. I'm going to do the same in another window and double check if you're messing with everybody.
Okay. Okay, so it says that as AI developed with OpenAI, I don't have personal pronouns because I don't have a personal identity or gender. You can refer me to me as it or simply ChatGPT.
Thank you.
If you have any questions or needed assistance, feel free to ask.
It agrees with me.
If you had to have...
Please don't start with the dead grandma.
Pronouns... Let me just rephrase the question. Okay. So if he had to use the pronouns, there would be neutral, like it, its. Because since I'm an artificial intelligence without personal identity or gender, it is important to remember that I'm just a program created to assist with information and tasks. So I don't have personal characteristics or preferences.
Thank you. Close the episode, please. We've gone too far.
So
we've gone too far, as
no. But
Craig
I think
Ferguson robot would say.
But I think that we solved one of the IT problems that are bothering people.
We solved an IT problem by calling it.
No, we defined the pronouns by actually being nice and asking ChatGPT to tell what his pronouns are.
I cannot even begin to count what's wrong with that sentence. I don't have that many fingers. But okay.
Anyway, on that establishing pronouns, thank you for this small chat late in the evening. We'll see you next time, probably from the studio, because we are right now on a sort of hiatus, and this means that we are going to be doing an episode tomorrow, and this is going to be a fun one. So. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah.
No, not only you, everybody.
Yeah, I know.
So thank you for being with us. He was Vedran.
He was Yasmin, still is.
And he is. He was trying to be woke today.
Nope.
I don't know why.
No.
Anyways,
see
you. Bye.
Bye.